I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, and I'm located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Monroe, Washington. And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey folks, thanks for listening to Wheel Talk. We would love some more interaction with you all throughout this future episodes, and we would love to hear some listener questions. They may get on the episode.
Yeah, just submit them to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com, or you can submit them on our Instagram at @wheeltalkpodcast. Thanks.
By car, unless we took like an Uber maybe, but... All right.
What's happening?
Hello, Miss Pink. How's it going?
Good.
So good.
Thanks. I don't know what... I friggin' hope I don't look like white trash tomorrow when I wash my hair for the first time. I probably already do.
It's gonna be, right? So...
What?
This is the brightest it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Are you like setting the mood here? What are you doing?
Well, this candle smells so good.
Candles burn too. Just
Becca, we're big fans of you.
Yeah, they listened to our
Really?
Kurt episode, and they were saying they love you.
We're both like cracking up listening to your podcast.
Yeah, we like.
Oh, thanks. I love you guys too. It's like a love triangle with Ryan and, well, I guess it's a square.
Yeah, that too. Squares are okay.
No, I don't
Count.
They got a new
Cool.
mic all for us.
You know what? You said that and I was like, oh man, they bought a whole mic just for us.
It's our little brother is always trying to get me to do like online gaming with him. So
Now you can do it.
now I can get in and school him and his friends.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fortnite or whatever.
The cats are also afraid of it, so it's been really fun torturing them. Past
Oh.
couple.
How are they afraid of it?
I don't know. It just
It like looks like a weird spider kind
if I
of.
pick it up,
I
it'll
don't
make
know.
lots of noise. Like it's just
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, you even got the like, I don't remember what that's called, the pop cap or pop something, pop screen.
what does that do?
I think it diffuses your voice so it's not like, I think it's the same type of thing as like putting things on your wall, like fabric or whatever on your wall.
I thought it was so your spit didn't like hit it and disrupt the sound.
That's also a very logical assumption.
I was thinking
Cobra
it's like
Shield.
to make
Yeah.
it not ASMR, like mouth sounds.
Oh,
Okay, what does that mean? ASMR. What does that mean?
What does that stand for?
Oh, I don't know what it stands for.
let's just make up.
I thought
No.
it was audio sensory meridian response.
That's exactly what it is. Yep.
Oh, nice one, Ryan.
Oh,
Whoa.
It's over here.
I recently joined TikTok and I'm on this adventure with TikTok right now and I'm like so not cool enough to be on TikTok and like I always see the ASMR thing and I'm like I don't even know what that I know enough that it means like if it sounds cool. But that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole other rabbit hole on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
do
seriously.
you all have a TikTok?
No, not for Pitch Pine. I made one and I don't have any videos or anything, just to watch the videos and laugh my ass off.
It's very
Yeah.
addictive.
They're pretty entertaining.
It's so
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, I'll hear Tara like across the house just like cracking up. Just like what
Crying.
is going on? And then she's scrolling through like thousands of these like random videos.
For like hours. It's so bad.
You need to find me. After this, tell me your TikTok name and we can find each other so I can send you funny videos. That's
I send them to Matt and he's just like, this isn't funny. Like, it is so
it is so funny. Like today I watched this lady. I love her. And she made a crown out of baby heads and it was like 4 baby heads tall and I was dying.
like
Of plastic baby,
Yeah,
plastic doll
plastic.
baby heads.
Yeah, plastic doll
Oh
baby.
my gosh.
And she made earrings too. Oh god, it was great.
so creative.
Yeah. So I guess we can. Well, I mean, I'm already recording, but so we might have the baby crown in.
Adventures in TikTok.
Yeah.
Keep it all in.
Keep it in.
Yeah,
Keep
just
it in.
keep
Going
it.
live.
We did that earlier, or we did that last week with Kurt or whatever, so it was fun.
Yeah. Tell us who you are.
All right. We are Matt and Tara. We run Pitch Pine Pottery, and we're a little small ceramics business.
Where are you located?
We are in Santa Fe, New Mexico right now. We're originally from Plymouth, Massachusetts, Bourne, Massachusetts area, so near the Cape. And we moved here last year, early 2019.
And you're melting.
It's quite hot. It's different kind of hot. I mean, everyone says that about the Southwest, but it's the dry heat. So it's definitely something else to get used to.
Yeah.
And we're still getting used to it. We've been here a year and a half, and we're like,
Tara's dad has this awesome like fridge magnet that's just a skeleton getting blown away by heat. It just says Southwest. It's a dry heat underneath.
That's so true. I grew up in Colorado, so it's also a dry heat.
Yeah. And he's in Massachusetts, so I don't know why he has that.
He just went there once and was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's my remembrance of that trip.
Yeah. It's just always stuck with me.
So what drove you all to New Mexico?
We visited in 2017 and just fell in love with it, and we have never lived outside of Massachusetts, not since we were kids. I was born in Maine, Matt was born in Rhode Island, so we just hadn't left New England really. And we kind of had this aha moment of our business is online, we're doing okay, maybe we should try living somewhere else.
Yeah.
We picked up and left. We brought our kiln and some studio equipment. We didn't have much at the time, and we left all of our furniture behind, and we just came out here and tried to start a cool life. And New Mexico is awesome. The weather is amazing. And we've been kind of figuring it out and finding our footing here ever since.
Yeah, we don't think we'll be here forever, but Santa Fe is kind of like the perfect staging area for us to go on all kinds of trips to the western states. And as East Coasters, this is all so new to us that we're just like, all right, cool, let's go explore Utah, let's go explore Arizona. And
which we haven't done yet.
Which because
have you all gone much past like the middle of the country before when you were in Massachusetts, or did you pretty much explore around that area in the east?
A lot of the East Coast, and then I came out to California years and years ago for a cousin's wedding. I didn't see anything, so we really done much.
And I had never gone west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is all new for us.
Yeah, that must be great for your photography options and stuff now, Matt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to beat, for sure.
I feel like your style is very, like, it just kind of fits in Santa Fe, I suppose. And, but, like, I've actually never been there, but I do know that like, the style of art down there. And my mom is always like, you need to go to Santa Fe because you'd love it, blah, blah, blah. And I just never, I'm like one of those people that if somebody tells me to do something, I'm like, good, I'm not going to do that. So
I'm the same.
Yeah, we're the same way.
No, Santa Fe it's pretty incredible. It's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone says that about their town these days, but it is very expensive here. So even
it's a tourist town.
Yeah, even looking into next year, we're thinking we might move out of town just to try to save some money.
I was going to ask is there any financial benefit in the move from Massachusetts to New Mexico, or was it more just change of scenery and having the funds to move and kind of make that jump?
Just a change of scenery, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think actually where we live now is way more expensive, ironically, than where we were in Massachusetts, which is renowned for being incredibly expensive.
Yeah, Cape Cod.
So we really just came out here for the experience and to just broaden what we had seen, what we knew. We really wanted to just like put ourselves in the desert. Like we've never been anywhere like this, and we've learned a lot, like by putting ourselves in such an uncomfortable place.
Yeah.
But it was just time for us to
cut the cord.
Yeah, hit the road.
Because did you all both kind of you all have known each other a long time, right? So you kind of grow up together and got married and all that stuff. So you've known each other since you're teenagers or something?
Yeah, high school. We met in high school. My senior year, his junior year. So 17, 18, and we definitely grew up together, and we moved around a little bit in Massachusetts, not very far. And then really what spurred it was us getting married, and then we went on our first vacation together, which was our honeymoon, and we went to Iceland, which was a huge dream for us, and we camped all around Iceland. And when we came back, we were just like, there's more out there, and we should probably start exploring it.
Yeah.
We were like hobbits, seeing something,
this
or
is the farthest I've ever been.
Yeah, our minds were just blown. We're just like, wait, we don't have to live in Plymouth?
I want to see mountains.
Yeah, it was a very formative experience, and then we just haven't been able to shake that since. It's just kind of in our blood now.
Yeah. So I don't even know if Ryan knows this. When I moved to Washington and then I started doing pottery, I got a job in the town that I'm in right now, but I wanted to buy a trailer and then put my studio in the back, like a toy hauler trailer, and put my studio in the back of the trailer. And so I could kind of move it around. And then I was planning on figuring out some solar situation for a kiln.
Like a nomad.
Dumb. And and I couldn't get financing for the trailer because it's a quote unquote luxury item. And I wasn't living at a house. And so it fell through, and it was probably one of the better things that happened to me. But I've deep down inside, I always wanted to live in a school bus with a kiln in the back and travel around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the dream.
It sounds awesome. I feel like it would be way more awesome as a painter.
Yeah, the resources and storage, I guess, would become a concern depending on what you're painting. But
can't believe how
the kind of equipment as a potter that you would need for that thing and the power.
So heavy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So you sell your stuff pretty much online. Do you ever do in-person stuff at all, or are you kind of just yeah?
We're all online now. Years ago, before Matt was even full-time working for Pitch Pine, I did local shows.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot. But if you're doing it all by yourself, there's a lot of hauling stuff around, and my family helped when they could, but even the vehicle that I had for a while, I couldn't even fit anything to, have a tent that I could pop up.
Yeah.
Right.
Properly display everything, and I really wanted it to be displayed well, and I just, after a while, when sales were picking up online, I was just kind of I think I'm done for the in-person for a little while.
Yeah, totally. I know a lot of people that are I'm good. I
definitely miss seeing people. I mean, face to face. That's really great, talking to people and making those connections. You don't get that as much with just Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just different.
And it's hard to just pass up people willing to give you money. And I can just make stuff and then put it online and it's going to sell. Why would I want to do all this extra work? But you are doing a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't see, with the photography and the listing and the prep work and building the website and keeping the website up and all that stuff.
There's a lot of work that goes into that still. I mean, the day of a restock, when we're putting new products online, we're going nuts. We have so many things to do. We forget to send out the newsletter. We forget everything. And and there's two of us still. So
yeah,
still a lot of work.
Definitely not.
Do you have anybody that helps you every now and then? Or is it just the two of you 100%?
A friend of mine used to help with shipping. but that was kind of pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's 50, so I told him, like, and he kind of has some health issues, so I just told him, like, you need to stay home, and he's all set financially. He was just like helping us out because he likes us.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy. His name's Brad. Shout out to Brad. If he's
Yay, Brad!
He's the best. But we lost Brad. But that's okay because
just to the store, not like he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah. He's a great chef, and he just made us like this amazing Korean dinner, basically.
Yeah.
And it was like out of control good. Like,
wow.
It's top tier.
Matt's
nice to have friends like that.
Yeah. He's the best.
Yeah, and we've had help in the past, like back in Massachusetts, we had friends that would help us. And this year was supposed to be the year of moving forward with hiring employees and stuff, but all of that got put on hold for us.
That's okay. It got put on hold for everybody else too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the liberating part about it.
No big deal.
Like, all right, it's not just us.
And were you all taking steps toward a retail location as well in the early spring part of the year?
Yeah. So actually, a year ago, this month was when we had signed our lease for this brick and mortar that we were going to open this spring. And we didn't actually take over the space until February. And there was a lot of work to be done. It was a great building, but it had been neglected. So we had a lot of painting and renovation stuff to do. We got started on that. And then COVID happened around March, and we halted everything. And then things kind of shit hit the fan from there, trying to negotiate with the landlord to lower rent or let us put off until we could actually open. And he turned out to be not very kind about it. And we are now currently still dealing with that situation.
Yeah, we had to clear up, and now.
Yeah.
Was that going to be a retail and studio? Were you going to move the actual studio there as well, and it was going to be all in one?
We were kind of going to have like not a fake studio, but we were going to have mostly like a
demonstration,
like a demo area that wouldn't really be for production, but just demonstrating in front of the public.
Yeah, for fun, which
smart.
Yeah. So we both, getting a little off topic, we both worked at a museum back in Massachusetts, and that was my first job within pottery, was actually demonstrating for the public making pottery. So I saw how that affected the museum. It was a huge draw. And then people would go to the gift shop behind us, buy a pot, and come out and be like, "Oh, could you sign the pot for me?" And I'm like, I don't know if I made that one, but okay.
Yeah.
So we knew it would be just a really great draw to bring people in and see how it's made, and then maybe buy something.
Yeah, especially in a tourist location.
Yeah.
I think we kind of talked about it, like right when you were about to open, like when you announced. I messaged you and I was like, unsolicited advice, boundaries.
Yes, but it was good advice. I mean, we had big plans, and with COVID and everything else that's happened, we realized that we have other plans now.
Plans change.
Yeah, we're not really trying to scale up. We're not looking to make a bigger impact or anything, and we're trying to focus on our happiness and saving up for a house. We've never bought a house before. We'd like to buy a home someday. So
yeah,
kind of currently where we're at.
Yeah.
Nice. How old are you guys? I think I know, but just tell us.
Our birthday. We actually have the same birthday, and it's this month, August 21st. So I'm gonna be 30, and Pat's gonna be.
I'm gonna be 29.
Wow. Hey, that's the day before we released our first episode. What?
Whoa.
You know, we might maybe we can figure out a way to release this on the 22nd. We can maybe we can make it happen.
No, we gotta release it on the 20th so people can wish him happy birthday.
Aww.
The 22nd is on a Saturday. We could release it on our birthday if you want, on Friday.
Let's do it.
Adorable.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Nice. Okay, so you shifted gears. You're kind of in a mode where it's like, okay, it's just the two of you now. What capacity can you handle, month to month with what you can make? What's doable? What's not killing yourself? And you kind of, you've been doing this for a while, so you kind of know the schedule and what you can handle, what your throughput is for a month or a week and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. And the only other thing we're working on now is Matt is learning how to throw.
Oh.
He's been learning off and on for a while, but I need him for so many other things that are very important, like shipping and photography, which he got amazing at. So there's just a lot to distract him with. And he was like, I really need to throw with you. Like, you can't be doing all this all the time. So we're working on.
What about trimming? Do you know how to trim?
He's learning.
I'm learning.
He's learning.
Trying to learn it all.
Good. Rebecca Graves actually told me when I went down there, she was like, yeah, I start everyone on trimming first. And I never would have thought of that. She starts everybody on trimming because then it teaches them what center means. And like it puts it more into perspective of what that is. And then when they start to throw, it makes more sense. And I was like, what?
I think the dryness of the clay was part of what she mentioned too, that you can understand the different stages of the clay, leather hard, and the, what's softer than that, what's too soft to trim, what's, ideal, and all that stuff.
I'd never heard of that. That's really smart.
I'd never heard of that, and I was like, whoa. Like,
plus if you're using the Giffen grip and stuff, because that's what she had, right?
She uses the Giffen grip, which it still just shows them what that means and like what, and like literally, like the first job that they do is to trim stuff.
That's brilliant.
Cool.
Well,
smart.
Try some of that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Smiling, she's like, yeah, what's in store?
I'm just a lamb to slaughter.
He's doing really good. And he helps with glazing and stuff too, which is also a huge help for me right now because glazing slows you down. And
I don't know how much people know. Do people know that Matt contributes as much as he does? And can you talk about how you kind of divvy up the work? Like what does it look like between the two of you with like beginning of a restock start? I think you just did a restock or whatever. Like what is the next like 4 weeks, and how do you divvy up stuff between the two of you?
Yeah, right off the bat, Matt is fully in charge of all the shipping. So he spends a few days doing all of that. And typically we have about 100 orders, kind of depends, like anywhere between 100 and 120. So he has to do all that, and it's a long process. Shipping also, like making sure everything's safe. We do a ton of shipping refund overages for anyone who bought multiples. So he's combining orders. It's very time consuming. Oh, and then I get right to work on the next one. And I usually have like 3 or 4 days of throwing all that stuff, throwing 100 or so items. And then we kind of meet up at some point when he's done, and he starts painting my mugs for me. So everything's sgraffito pretty much. So he goes my underglazes and he gets them all painted. He's cleaning up the handles, cleaning up the rooms, doing all that. And then I'm
like the prep cook. Tara's the chef, and I'm like the prep cook, like getting her
the sous chef,
getting everything she needs.
Well, you're very important.
He is. Huge help.
And then I think like one thing we missed, typically like right after the restock, we usually take our like one of the 2 days that we take off a month is like right the day after a restock. And then the next day or two, I'm trying to get way better at it, but I try to get all my Instagram photos in those 2 days.
For like the next 2 weeks or so.
So I spend like,
wow.
I just spend the entire day just like building sets and like taking stuff down and creating different stuff. And then when I finish that, that's when I start shipping and then
that's with the finished work that is going out the door.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Because I use them for photos. So I'm
right.
Wow.
So they're
because you don't have anything just sitting in stock, right? That's finished. Your stuff is out the door and gone.
Which is kind of a point of conflict with Tara and I, because I'm always like really pissed off that I don't have anything to photograph that's finished.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah. And then when we do have it, I only have like literally one day to like photograph it. So it puts a ton of pressure on me creatively because I'm just, damn, I have to like, I'm starting to sketch out. It's gotten to the point where now I have to sketch out my shots like before I even do my photos. I'm like planning them way ahead so that I can just take full advantage of the little time that I have.
Have you ever considered, I've considered this, but I've not done it. Have you ever considered budgeting out your, like an actual budgeting out your pots and like taking a month or whatever and trying to get a full month in advance? Because you know how they recommend that you get like a full month's of money before, that way that you can pull it and then use that money while you're building up the next. Have you ever considered doing it like that so that you can have the month to like do the pictures?
Are you talking about stocking up Bisqueware, or what do you?
No, I'm talking about stocking up final stuff, like work for 3 months to like make a little extra, and so you have, so let's say
like you have an extra 10 to 15 pieces that are complete that you don't sell.
Yeah, like a
few of each item.
Hear me out. So, in August, you start working on making 20 extra pieces a month, so that in September, in December, you have 100 pieces.
That's cool.
So you have 100 pieces. So then right at January, those 100 pieces are going to be the pieces that you're going to be using for January, but you are still on the exact same schedule. You have a month to photograph your pieces, and Tara is working on the stuff for the next month, but then you just switch the photograph pieces to that month, and then it continues as a cycle. You just have to be strong and not sell that 100 pieces.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, actually.
I think that's we've kind of thought similar stuff about like if we ever want to actually do like a real vacation sometime.
We have to
you would have to do something like that.
Yeah. We've done it small scale of like getting ahead for a month so that we could go on vacation.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but not on a bigger scale like that, where we basically have like a whole restock ready to go. Kind of thing.
I think that's next level.
Plus, it sounds like that would prep you for like the winter craze, right? Where you would never have enough.
Yeah, and then you could eventually get to a point where you're 2 months ahead if you plan well enough, and then you could take a fucking month off.
Yeah, that's how you do it. I'm gonna start planning this now. I'm ready. Like it.
I guess those hours can add up. Like you can say, I'm going to do an extra 2 hours doing this specific thing this week or whatever. But do you change your styles in your work a lot month to month, that it's like, is it going to look stale 4 months later, right? Or
could
or is it like a best of series at the end of the year or something that it?
Yeah, that's cool. I feel like this year we really found our stride with designs. We do have plans for like very specific things for the fall and winter for the holidays that are more intricate, more fun. But I mean that can still apply for, we build up all that work, and then in January we're like, oh, well, we have all these left over if you guys missed out from the holidays.
Totally.
It still work. But in the past, that has always been our problem, is I'm constantly fooling around and making new stuff. And what was good 6 months ago, I'm like, no, next.
It took me 5 years. 5 years to finally get it. Like the style.
Yeah. I feel like I'm approaching it, and it's about 5 years for me too of running Pitch Pine. So I'm getting there.
Is that just a matter of getting the reps in and just making thousands of pots and getting them out to customers and like gauging responses and figuring out in the numbers of like how many people are actually responding to this over these other designs?
Definitely. Yeah. And then also mix in like what I want to make. And I get real sick of things sometimes, and I have to put it away for a while and then bring it back, but maybe reinvent it a little and try to make it something that I'm enjoying again.
That's why I did the mystery box sale this year. And that's why Ryan did it too, because I have all this old pottery that I'm like, that is gross. Like, ugh.
Someone will like it for sure.
Yeah, and we just did it. We both did this. We just did a mystery box sale, and I just packed the shit out of them.
It was great.
It was. I
sold like $4,000 in work, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you have old pieces, mystery box sales, people love that crap.
I'd be down, yeah.
I mean, yeah, right? It's fun, like, to get, like, a secret package.
Do you all have seconds that stack up throughout the year and you sell them at a certain time and stuff like that?
We did that once.
I've been using them, actually, for experiments.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so...
Photograph experiments?
Yeah.
Where they might break, and I might otherwise get upset about this, I can let him use those ones.
Yeah.
Like the dunking stuff in there and catching the...
Sure, yeah.
Gluing them to things and flipping them upside down and...
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Throwing them. There's a lot of stuff that I want to try to do, but Tara won't let me do it with actual
sold pots. Like at the end of a restock, he's like, "Can I stack these like up to the ceiling?" And I'm like,
"Dude,
sold counted for."
I did that the other day. I stacked up 8 mugs on top, and I took a picture, and I was like, "Oh God, I'm literally wrapping these up to give them to somebody."
Yeah.
Love to test those boundaries as potters.
Plus, Matt, as a photographer, do you feel like old pictures are stale? You're like, that's old news. Like, we can't put old pictures up.
Yeah. I think I feel like I have that to such an extent that it's actually a bad thing, because if you look at a lot of content creators, they recycle content pretty frequently. Mm-hmm. And if you just look at influencers, they will post like photos from all throughout the last few years, and kind of they're able to get away with it. Whereas I just feel like for our work and our particular audience, they're I feel in some ways like they're kind of spoiled in a way. And I have to constantly reinvent like the wheel in a way to keep people engaged and like keep them coming back. And so I just kind of always have to find these like tricks up my sleeve, and because of that, I do get sick of like older work because I feel like I've moved past that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like your all's aesthetic with your grid and everything just like elevates your business and your brand up to a point where it's like you're a potter and a photographer. Like you can't, and on Instagram, like you can't be a better pairing for like the medium you're in to like gain an audience and sell buyers and stuff like that. Like it's perfect for that.
Oh, thanks,
man. Yeah.
I haven't looked at your grid in a while, and I'm looking at it right now. Shit, man. Like
the amount of time it's like, man, I'm lucky to like post something.
Oh, dude, I literally posted a video on TikTok telling people not to buy my stuff. I was like, I'm just here. It kind of backfired on me, but but like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm like taking pictures in front of garbage cans. Ryan, I don't know if you know this. I told Tara a while ago, I was actually watching a movie while I was texting you this once, like at the theater. One of my students is in love with you, like your stuff. Aww. And like so much so. And like I actually didn't really follow you before that. She's like, have you seen Pitch Pine's work? Like, I just want to do what she does. And I had to like rein her back. I literally had to be like, okay, but let's learn how to center first. Like, you know, like, you know, she wasn't good at the beginning. I had, you know, I always have to be like, nobody's good when they start, you know? And yeah, so that's when I started like figuring out what, you know, like talking to you and seeing your stuff, and it's totally not my style at all. Like your pottery isn't, but I do like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we all suck in the beginning.
We do.
Except for this guy who's freakishly good at certain parts of it. And I'm just like,
No. See, that's the thing though. It's not, you're not at the beginning because you have had years of experience of watching, and people completely underestimate the power of visuals. And you can have kids that have never dribbled a basketball but have watched so many NBA games and they can shoot it no problem because they've got that visual learning under their belt. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my story.
That's awesome. I mean,
yeah, well, when did you, let's hear about you. When did you start, and how long ago, and what was your starting story?
So I went to college back in Massachusetts and always loved art. I was doing a lot of painting and drawing at the time, and I didn't touch clay really until college. And about halfway through, I was freaking out because I could see the loans that I was accruing, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do. And I was just taking a lot of art classes, and then I ended up taking a ceramics class. And I kind of just had this moment of I'm going to get good at this. I'm going to get so good at this because it was the hardest thing I've ever tried, art medium wise. And it turned into, class after class after class. And I ended up leaving with it as my concentration. So I have an art degree, concentration in ceramics. And I had no clue what I was going to do with that because Instagram had started, but it wasn't what it is now. I really didn't see anyone doing their business on Instagram.
Yeah.
Following any potters. It was very little then. It's 2012. And I just nannied for a while. I, worked at retail places. And then at the time, Matt was working at that museum that I mentioned in our hometown. He was apprenticing as a blacksmith.
Cool.
Yeah, which was really cool. He let me know that there was a position in the pottery department that had opened up. They were looking for another potter. I was like, no way. No, I'm not ready for that. I still can barely throw. No way. And then I heard you'd have to throw in front of the public and teach. And I was like, nope, not for me. But Matt convinced me to interview, and I did it. I kind of fucked up the interview a little bit. By,
I was gonna say, what was the interview like for this kind of job? Were you on the spot throwing?
No, I had to bring my work though. So I met with one of the potters that was there, and I was just told to bring as much of my pottery as I could. So I brought everything I had made in college, basically. I had a giant box of fragile pottery. I met with that potter and then the head of the museum. And it was awkward. I swore a few times, during an interview.
I would do that.
Did it feel like the worst critique because you're like, oh, this is not for a grade. This is for a job that I'm going to get paid for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really didn't think I was going to get it. So I was just like, whatever. And the potter that was there kind of saved my ass. And he just said, the skill's there. She can make pots. Look, she brought them. And that was it. I got the job. And then I worked there for about 2 years, and there was another potter, Ron Dean, who's been making pots for something like 50 years now. And
oh, wow.
He was head of the department. He was incredible. I learned far more from him than I ever did in college. I really learned how to throw there, and I learned about glazes, and I learned even how to run the business side of things, because Ron had his own business outside of the museum. And he was always teaching me about bookkeeping and pricing. And yeah, I learned so much more there in 2 years than I did in a total of 5 years in college. And then shortly after, the job was great. Management was really bad. And we were managed by people that weren't potters. It just became a really gross environment. And I kind of quit on the spot one day, just had enough, said goodbye to Ron, no one else. And I had every intention of getting another job. I interviewed as a pet walker. I interviewed as a nanny again. I was trying to find something. We had a roommate at the time. So I was like, we'll be okay for a couple months. Matt had a good job then. And I just kind of threw myself into Pitch Pine, and it didn't take off. I wasn't selling out, immediately. It took years for me to start selling out, but I was able to make my portion of the rent, and I was just like, I can do this. Why don't I just do this?
Yeah.
And that was 2016, tail end of 2015 into 2016. And then Matt joined. He was helping me out by 2017.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it when shit just hits the fan and then you have to figure it out. I love that.
Fly by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you get to the point where you decided that Matt in getting involved and actually like taking on role tasks and stuff that would take it off your shoulders was worth the investment?
That was a really tough decision, actually. Matt, can you talk about it?
So at the time I was working in sales for Tesla Motors.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a good job.
It was a good job. But I was kind of in this really weird situation where our branch that I worked for, that I basically was given this opportunity to like create my own branch on Cape Cod. And eventually, like, a year down the road, we did great, but a year later, we found out that we were like the pet project of one of these directors who was like friends with me, and that no one else like in the corporate team in California like knew about us even like existing. So when they found out that we were a thing and that like we were kind of like on the frontier of the company, they kind of had this like really heavy-handed approach, and they were just like, yeah, all of you guys are laid off like right now. And then they offered me, thankfully, this opportunity to go overseas and work either in Shanghai or in Norway. And I was at like this crossroads where that was exactly the moment where Tara was starting to make like a decent amount of money with Pitch Pine on her own.
And this is after you're married, right? Or is it before?
Yeah. This is just after we got married. We got married in 2016.
Okay. So y'all are hitched at this point, and you're getting this decision.
So this is like early 2017 that this is all happening. And I had some guys who I worked with, who worked for me actually, who were telling me, they were like checking out Tara's work, and they like on their own, and they were saying like, dude, you have a business here.
And she's a badass bitch. Yeah.
Say that about my wife, but it was actually these guys, these like random guys who were kind of like, they were the voice of reason to tell me that I had something going for me, and I didn't need to like move to Shanghai. And that's kind of where we made that decision of just like, I had enough saved up. And
yeah, we had a couple of months because he had saved to like do a trial period and be like, can we work together? Is this going to work? It was extremely hard. We had many days where we're just like, go back to work. Like, this isn't going to work. It was tough. We had to find our rhythm. We had to figure out how to spend that much time with each other. We didn't make it, but we almost didn't make it as, a business together.
Yeah.
But it was hard.
And what's funny is it didn't take that long for us both to find our groove together. But what's really funny is it's still happening today that like our friends and family, like they still don't get it, and they still don't understand like how this works and like what goes on
and what he does. And
like my whole family just like thinks that I'm unemployed or something. And
they don't understand that it's a 2+ person job that you're both taking the burden of and owning together and building together.
No, because we don't come from families of artists, and I think it's really weird for our families looking at us. They don't know what to do with us. They're just like,
I get it.
It's very odd, honestly. And for me, like, I just think my family is composed of just these workers kind of. And so for me to like be a business owner and to be like assisting my wife, like that's like unheard of.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't know what he does. He just plays like Call of Duty all day or something.
And do you both have siblings as well?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of step siblings, and then I have a couple of blood siblings, and they're all on the same page of just, they don't really get it. They're proud, I think, but we don't really talk about it. Like they don't really ask me anything. If there's ever a lull in the conversation, they're like, "Oh yeah, I really like those the bowls that you're making." Or they just like pull something out of their ass. They're just like, "Yeah, the mugs. Those are great. I like those."
Yeah.
And Matt, you have some siblings too?
I do, yeah. And my sister is in she's in law enforcement, so she's kind of like she's out alphaed me. So I just look like Zach Galifianakis from like 40-Year-Old Virgin, like, or from The Hangover.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get any respect in here, you know?
Yeah. Well, he has a lot of family history in law enforcement in the military for the men. So
yeah. So I'm like,
we're on a different path.
I'm just like a pathetic like weakling, basically.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I get it.
Go on, Becca.
Oh, I said my mom told me, she was like, I think I sent her something, and she was like, you know, Becca, I don't always understand what you do, but I always appreciate it.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah, I feel like that's something my mom would say to me.
Your mom's really sweet about it.
Yeah.
She's proud of you.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic for sure. But we're kind of both reaching the age where like we don't really care anymore, like what people's perception of us is.
We're getting there, yeah.
And you know, we're able to pay the bills, so what does it matter?
Right. Because I think when you're to a point where you're free thinking enough to where, you know, you moved away, so you're living your own lives, you're not feeling like you have to check in and, you know, get approval, or, you know, you can make decisions as a husband and wife what you want to do, and as business owners, and like you have ownership of something that you have free reign of what you want to do with it. So
yeah, I think we're just kind of realizing that we're like, we could do anything. Like we could move somewhere else. We have some really cool possibilities right at our fingertips. We should try some of it.
Yeah. Do you think separating, I feel like this with me, but do you think separating yourself from where your family lives, not necessarily your family, but like, you know, the environment that you were always so used to, do you think that has helped you kind of like push you into something new and exciting, and like realizing that? I feel like sometimes that happens.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think for both of us, just not having that scrutiny over your shoulder at all times is really key. And then both of us, I think like you, Becca, we both thrive in adversity in a way. Like Tara and I are very good with chaos and like with unpredictability. And I think that's kind of where like creatively we both shine. So that stability, like where we're from, and that familiarity was actually working against us because we didn't have that edge that we needed.
Yeah.
We've both like kind of found this year, like we've got our edge now.
That's awesome.
And that was after like really being pushed out of the nest and like not knowing anybody, not having any friends, not being like 2,500 miles from our families. Like,
yeah, even the shop, the brick and mortar experience, we learned a lot from that too. It's a giant failure because it didn't happen.
Can't succeed without failing.
Yeah.
But we kind of analyzed the reasons why we were doing it, and it didn't feel like the right reasons anymore. We thought maybe our family and our friends and whoever else would take us more seriously. If there was this,
because you have a brick and mortar and people can come visit you and see actual work, and
there's a shop, we can come see it. And then most of our family's wouldn't be able to come see it. We realized that very quickly. And then COVID happened. It's like, okay, no one's coming to see it. And we kind of just took a step back from that and realized what we really wanted, which was to kind of just do what we were already doing. Like we were already making pottery that we loved. We were already living this great life. We were just like, we should just be enjoying this and kind of chill.
Right.
Yeah. I've had my shop for 3 years, and not a single person in my extended family that lives 20 minutes away has ever been there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, and it's fine. Like, it's fine. My uncle called me once when he was on his way, like, out of town, and it was a Sunday, and I was like, no, I'm not there. But, you know, yeah, I mean, I think that it's important to realize that you have your own path and not to rely on the people that you love. You can still love those people, but they may not be there for you, you know? And it's, yeah, it's kind of like a hard thing to like to like reconcile with, but I feel you. I'm on the same type of path right now, and like realizing that it's so important to realize what your initial goal and your initial intent for your life and for your business is, and to stick to that, and not do something because you think somebody else will want that, or you think, oh, I'll make more money doing that. Like, you need to find out if money is actually the reason that you're doing something, if it's actually because you want more money or because you need more money, you know, and all those things. And that's a really hard lesson to learn. And I don't think that it comes in the first 2 years of your business. I think it comes in like year 7 or
I think that we were too externally motivated, and we're kind of learning this year to develop that internal motivation of like, we don't really need approval from everybody in the world to be happy, and
won't get it, so.
because you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And we figured that out the hard way, honestly. I thought that like all of our friends and family would be stupidly proud of like, we're like repping our hometown and like we're this successful business, but really everyone's reaction is just like, oh, cool, whatever.
You're saying when you lived there, or when you decided to leave, and then that they like realized that they would miss you leaving, or
just both, honestly. Like, it just didn't. No one seemed to really care, and I don't know if that's a generational thing that's going on, but I just feel like most people I know would be pumped, like,
right,
to rep their friends and family, but like it didn't work out for us in that way. But that, you know what, it's cool.
I lied. One person has, my uncle that lives with my sister. I just have to say that so that.
And we're waiting for the time that Becca's mother finds out that she has a podcast as well. We're 50 episodes in and she doesn't know. So I think we have an over under. I don't know what the number is, but
and it's gotten to the point where I know she'd love to know that I have a podcast, but it's gotten to the point where it's like I'm waiting for somebody else to tell her. So.
Well, it's like Matt says, generational. That generation doesn't know about podcasts, or they don't listen to podcasts the same as.
Oh yeah, my mom doesn't listen.
Some of us would. So.
Yeah, and you know, like, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, and I know she would love it, and I know that they would be so proud of me. I just forgot to tell her. And
oh my god, I love you so much.
So there's that.
Hilarious.
We need to make shirts that says, if you see Becca's mom, tell her she has a podcast.
Oh my gosh.
Well, maybe she does. She's never told me.
Yeah, I don't know. My mom listens to every podcast. She listens to all of them, so.
She's mom enough for both of us.
Hi, Ryan's
mom. Yeah. She texted us after one of the episodes and was like telling us about the financial stuff as soon as it was over.
And she's like lecturing on us, just so you know, this and this and this, you're not nerds. Normal people do this. And we're like, okay.
I love that.
She's great.
It's interesting to hear the different family dynamic between Tara. I
like Tara. Responsible, so it's fine.
Tara and Matt, and then Becca, because you all share that commonality. I have a completely different perspective, and I'm more reluctant with my decision making and more conservative with how I approach problems and stuff like that. But it's interesting to hear that difference. But
I think a lot of mine is actually me. It's not really my family. I would imagine that my family would be really supportive if I was open, more like that whole situation, like the podcast situation. Like if I actually shared what I was doing, I probably would be. It would have happened.
It would be welcomed and
yeah, but I'm
supported.
just like a recluse in my brain, and so I just like the whole world can know what I'm doing, but not my family.
Yeah, there's a portion of that for us too, but I think it's a learned behavior because there's been so many times where we've both been like, hey, this great thing's happening, and it's just kind of crickets on the other end, and we're like, okay.
Oh yeah.
So I guess more to ourselves, and
so it trains you to kind of not put out as much. Plus, it might seem like I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to give like good news or positive things about yourself because you feel like you're talking about yourself versus others around you or your family that are used to their 9 to 5 and whatnot, which is completely fine depending on what you're interested in and what you want to do and stuff. So
and we don't mean to like complain. I think the only lesson here that I would give to anyone who's like starting out or starting their own business is just don't expect like everybody to throw you a parade.
And also do it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reasons.
We talk about all the time that like even if we weren't making a living doing this, I would still be making pottery. Like when I could, I love this craft. It's what I would be doing even if I was poor.
I think it's important to really talk about this stuff. We are very positive on this podcast a lot, and I think it's important to be real about what is actually happening, with different situational stuff, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think honestly, like as a non-potter looking into your community, I think that is something that's honestly missing a lot of the time because the conversation is this like constant hype and like praise and it's just kind of, I think it can be alienating if you're not experiencing like the greatest stuff ever.
Greatest restock ever.
The success of selling out and
and I think that
loving your work.
If I could critique the clay community online, I think that
do it.
I just think potters need to be more open to that duality of what it's actually like and to not try to hide it so much. Because I honestly think customers and fans, they want to know about like who you guys are.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the facade. They want to know like
it's relatable to talk about
relatable.
All of the the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I do talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm not really part of the ceramics community in that regard. Like, I have a very raw space. And that's a lot of the reasons why I have the community that I have locally is because I'm like, dude, I messed up. Like, I literally posted on my Facebook today that I was going to go to the farmer's market without a tent and just have 2 tables. Like, and just throw my crap on there. And people like that stuff. But you also have to have a good balance, Yeah. There has to be a balance where it's like, I'm not white trash, but I'm also like, I also am good at this, and, but it is, you do have to be relatable and there aren't a lot of people that are. I
mean, I can think of like, you're one of them. There's definitely a few potters, that are real and that post really great stuff. And
like Ryan, you're real.
Ryan's real.
Thank you.
He's a real
right here. I'm a real boy.
You're real.
But I feel like there's definitely a lot of like the bigwig accounts that aren't quite so relatable, and that can be tough. And I mean, we don't always put out all of that content. We've had a lot of shit happen in our lives that nobody put out because it's personal. We're ready when we're ready. But yeah, I think we've been trying this year a lot more to just be real, talk about more stuff.
Instagram stories has helped with that so
yes, it has.
much. When Instagram stories came on, I was like, yes, finally I can live my best life. And I don't post anything on my page. Yeah, I don't post anything on my page anymore. I just talk in the stories. But yeah, no, I feel like Instagram stories is really helping people. And if you're not using Instagram stories to show people how relatable you are, it's a good idea to start, you know?
Yeah. It's a great feature. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah, me too.
Are you guys using Reels yet?
No. I don't want to do the photo video editing stuff. Isn't that basically TikTok on Instagram?
It's TikTok on Instagram basically. So it's just another little video platform thingy, and you can just put them in your stories, or you can put them on your grid, or they'll go right to Reels or whatever. So that's been my little experimentation with dipping my toes into TikTok videos, because I've never made one before, but I really like them.
I just save 4 stories and smush them together.
See, that's also really intelligent. You could just do that.
Yeah. Is it like, so it's not Instagram? What's the other one? The one in the corner. Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah, not that. So it's still just the 15-second videos, but you can splice it together really quickly and do your effects and whatever.
That's cool.
And do you can use the original music or the copyright music kind of stuff with it, just like TikTok.
No, yeah. TikTok, I swear to God, TikTok is taking all the music stuff away. I've tried to put sounds on there and they're like, no. So I just gave up and I was like, you know what? No music.
I'm just going to talk over it or
just talk
narrate.
No. Yeah. Seems to be working.
Yeah, I haven't dipped my toe in that yet. So with the being real more, who does the captions for you all? Does Tara, do you basically manage all the Instagram account and then Matt provides all the photos, or how do you all?
It's definitely both of us. I would say so. Matt does all the photos for sure. He's taking the photos, he's editing the photos, he's preparing that content. Probably 99% of the time, I am writing the captions. And
I'm like Tara's editor.
Yeah, he basically edits for me. Sometimes he doesn't, and I'll just throw it up there, and he's like, "You spelt a bunch of stuff wrong." There have been a couple occasions where he has written an entire caption and we haven't said anything. So, for instance, I think this is really interesting. I did a post a couple weeks ago where I kind of reintroduced myself a little bit as an introvert, and Matt wrote the entire post as if he was talking as me. And I read it.
Wow.
Because I was just like, I don't want to write about myself. I'm not comfortable. I don't know what to say. And he wrote it, and it was so spot on. And I was just like, yeah.
Wait, what'd you say? You fell in love with it? Is that what you said?
Yeah. It was. He just did such a great job of
sweet, Matt.
Describing myself through his eyes, but through my words. It was really cute.
Becca, what's that face?
Are you gonna do it for Matt?
I would. Yeah, we've been talking about how we need to introduce him on the feed, and
yes,
that would be really. I would love to do that for you. If you let me.
All right, just talk me up.
I would. Matt sucks and he doesn't do anything. And oh wait, it's me. I suck and.
No.
That's like you remember when, I know you have probably experienced this, Ryan, but you remember when you were doing shows, and I always felt like doing shows that we should just artists should just switch. The person next to you in the booth that loves your stuff should just switch with you, and we would sell so much more. Because yeah, because you're like, oh my God, look at it, and there's no shame. You're like, look at this one, it's so cool. I would imagine Rachel is really good at selling your stuff, Ryan.
Not as much. No. Because I have these things that I say. And then she'll try to do that, but it's half of what it was, or I don't know. I think it's a learned skill of figuring out people's facial cues and their body or their nonverbal communication of what they're doing and what they're interested in, and picking up whether they want to talk to you, whether they're not, whether they're just browsing, and how much you want to commit to that conversation or not. It's kind of, I don't know.
I could sell your stuff better than you.
Do it. Come over here and do it. Come to a show here in Cincinnati and do it.
Maybe I will.
Let's do it. You can join me in the booth one day, and I'll eat my lunch and I'll see what you got.
I mean, Rachel fly me out and we'll do it.
All right.
I want to do that. I want like video of that. Look at this olive oil bottle. Look at this. Look, good in there.
Cincinnati's not ready.
I'm not ready for that pink. Oh gosh. So Tara, are you replying to all the DMs and the everything like that?
Yes. So I get pissed at Matt if he answers any of my DMs.
Because he marks them as read, and you're like, oh gosh, I missed that.
Yeah.
I'm like really bad at it too, because Tara will be like talking to one of her like actual friends, and I won't know that they're like friends. So I'll go on and I'll just say like, thank you, person.
Like, dude, that's my friend Abby. You can't talk to her like that. I get pissed.
Yeah.
If I ever see him take my phone and I know he's like, checking in on comments and yada yada, because I'm like tired and I don't want to answer anyone, I'm like, put my phone down. Don't you dare answer any of my DMs. I like talking to people. So.
Wait, you're not logged in on both phones, and then Matt, you can just like.
No.
No, he's not allowed.
Just Tara's phone.
Oh no.
I feel like I kind of do that to Ryan with the Wheel Talk podcast one.
I'm more of a leave it unread so that I can get back to it.
And I'm more of a read it, realize that I read it, try to find
heart
the
it,
unread,
and then that's it.
And then heart it, and that's it.
And then that's it.
The heart feature, I like that one.
Yeah.
I often feel bad for Tara though, because that's why I try to step in and like do some of that work, because it's exhausting work, just mentally trying to keep up with everything, and it's a lot of responsibility. And I think that's the other thing that like doesn't get talked about enough is like the social media is like a whole nother full-time job.
Right. Do you have your phone here? Can you tell us how much time you spend on Instagram per day on the activity part? We did this with Kurt, and I think his was about 3 hours.
I didn't realize you had almost 80,000 followers. I thought you were at 30.
Yeah, I'm at like 3 hours. But I will say, a lot of the time, I leave my phone like it's open and on Instagram, and I haven't shut it or anything. And so there'll be days where it's like 8 hours, and I'm like, I didn't know I did not spend 8 hours on my phone.
Yeah.
Or you open a video or something, and it's playing in Instagram, so it's like, oh no.
How many messages do you get a day?
It varies. I mean, some days, if I'm not like active in my stories, which I don't do every day, just to catch a break, there's not that many. And then there's
not that many? Like 30?
Like 10 to 20. And then on a like heavier day, it might go from like 50 into the hundreds or so.
Wow.
It just depends on the content that we're putting out there.
Yeah. Because our whole page is like, unlike a lot of people on Instagram, we go through this like really high highs and really low lows constantly.
Riding that algorithm.
Yeah, riding the algorithm. Whereas it seems like a lot of the bigger accounts, they just have this like straight 45-degree trajectory going up, up, up.
We feel like we have to fight sometimes to be seen and relevant.
By the highs and lows, do you mean like you post something and then it gets a lot of traction in the first like 4 hours and then like crickets for the whole next day until you post again?
Yeah. I mean, you can check our feed. We'll have a post that hits 4K, and then the next post after that will hit like 1,200.
Which is good still. Like, that's great. That's fine. But it's frustrating.
It can be frustrating, especially when it seems like a lot of the bigger accounts, they're just like, oh wait, every post is just like topping the next higher and higher and higher. And
Ryan,
I don't know
hard to fight that.
I don't know how much you guys want to talk about it, but this is another thing, looking from the outside in to the pottery community.
I love this.
I really, really wish people would talk more about how fraudulent some of the stuff is that you see in the bigger accounts, because it is shockingly easy. I actually did an experiment on like a throwaway account that I made on Instagram, it's shockingly easy to buy likes and comments and followers.
Yeah.
And you can actually create like the complete illusion of a real engagement. Like you can actually create organic engagement and buy it.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to, you know, these silly companies and influencers and stuff. It's definitely infiltrating the arts.
Yeah,
which is frustrating. And because we're all organic, we've never done that on Pitch Pine, and it's just us.
You're talking about a single account that's representing like a brand, not an account that's curating and pulling videos and top posts from the top accounts. That grow that way.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you can see it if you look for it, but I just think that there's kind of like there's two worlds happening in the Instagram pottery community. There's kind of like the like AstroTurf world that is like in many ways fake and has been like not organically driven, and then there's the completely organically driven side of things, and there's this big gulf between those two worlds, and I don't really see like anyone talking about it or showcasing it or anything. And I think fans they don't really know that that's a thing.
Yeah.
And so like what I'm trying to say is the big accounts get bigger and the small accounts get smaller or just stay the same.
Oh, I plateaued at 3,000 followers for 2 years. 2 years.
Damn. Yeah.
I'm at 5,000 now.
I think that's a problem. I think that's a big problem, and I don't see anyone really talking about it in an honest way. And it just kind of frustrates me as an outsider.
Is it because you feel like the eyeballs are taken away from you and put to somewhere else that could be potential customers down the road, or you're putting in the work to be honest and organic and
the integrity,
putting in all the hours that you're not being rewarded for?
Yeah, like we're not cheating, you know, like we're putting in so much effort into these photos and into the work, and we're working all the time. So it's definitely frustrating to see other people, you know, whiz by and they're cheating.
Is it like engagement number, or is it, you said if you look for it, is it like looking at the number of likes with the number of followers they have and the engagement, and then you're just like, well, that math doesn't add up. They're like 1% engagement, which is not.
Yeah, there's that sometimes, but there's kind of subtle cues. Honestly, like you can kind of trust your gut in some instances. Like if the work is not great and it's getting enormous engagement, that's a big red flag, because why would that be going viral and be going viral every single time? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, also, I mean, like what I think is really shitty work might not be. Okay, yes, totally agree. But what I think might be kind of shoddy work, might. Sometimes
it might appeal to a wider audience that doesn't have the knowledge of like the pottery community, knows what's good form and what's not, or something like that.
There's something to that for sure. Yeah.
And I'm only knowledgeable about this because of my experience within the photography community on Instagram, because that community is rife with people who have boosted themselves up into like the elite levels, and you know, it's all fraudulent. So I'm just taking that experience and I'm looking at the pottery community and just seeing some similar trends happening where I'm just like, all right, this is kind of disturbing. And I wish that there was just more knowledge about it and people like working to, you know, prevent it, or I don't know.
I mean, I just wish it wasn't possible to buy that stuff. It's so silly, but
to buy followers.
Like having bot accounts, and you would get detected and you would get shut down, or they would kill those accounts and then the engagement would drop off because those accounts have been closed or.
Yeah, it's gotten sophisticated though. Like, depending on who you listen to, like my understanding of it is that the bots have basically won the war, and that the Instagram cannot keep up, and it kind of gave up trying to police it about a year ago.
Interesting.
And
there was another aspect to that where I came across companies that are actually paying people, real people with real accounts, to comment and to follow and to like. So some of those accounts are actually real, but they're being paid to do that.
Yeah.
Which is something I wasn't aware of until a couple months ago.
So wait. So wait, what?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there were, I think they've been shut down actually, because I remember there was a YouTuber that talked about it, that his company was shut down, but he was paying people with Instagram accounts to go to specific accounts and whatever and like and comment and follow. So the engagement was actually real, but they were being paid to do so.
Interesting.
So if you went to their account, no, it doesn't look like a bot, and you're just like, oh, that's real. That's a real person. But it was proven.
It's not authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the real trick, if you're really good at it, not to encourage anybody, but the real trick is to basically fake it till you make it. You want to create the illusion that you're this big deal, and then what's that going to do? It's going to actually attract real people, because people look at that number and then they follow. So if I can buy enough followers to get me to like 100K, well, then now I've got this actual large group of real people who are now seeing me and following me because they see that number. And it doesn't reflect like my work. It doesn't reflect my skill or my knowledge. It's just the numbers game.
I feel like it can drive some sales too, because you feel like there's this many people trying to get these sales, and this person can only output this amount of things.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think like, obviously it's not a good subject to talk about, but I think it's important to, because if that stuff doesn't get addressed or looked at, it's going to just tear apart like a lot of accounts of real people. Real people's businesses are going to be negatively impacted. And I don't mean ours even, because I think that we're fine. But it upsets me to see so many people working hard and to just like not get the attention that they deserve.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Whoa, that's heavy.
Fucking Instagram.
happy now.
I was thinking this when I saw so for some reason I was looking a few weeks ago, and like Diamond Core Tools, their account wasn't showing up on Instagram, and I like reached out through Messenger like after I saw it come back, and they were like, yeah, somebody hacked our account, blah blah blah. So I was like, oh man, I better put 2-factor on my account and like make sure it's secure, because this is like a business asset at this point, especially for like you all that rely on it. Like if Instagram went away, like how would your business be affected? It's like one of those things that you're using it for free, like in quotes. It's like, man, you got to secure this asset that with that high number, like you're more vulnerable to people getting in your account and like wanting to take hold of it, because you have a lot of eyeballs on your stuff. So it's crazy.
Yeah, it's scary. We've talked about that a lot in the past. And for a while, pre-COVID and everything, everyone was kind of talking about like, well, what if Instagram just gets shut down? Like, what if it just, flakes out? What if it's just gone? Like, what would you do? So that was another reason for wanting to sell in person at the brick and mortar, was to kind of diversify a little bit, just in case. I definitely do not see Instagram going away anytime soon. That fear is not real. But I definitely do think about like hacking and stuff. I think gotta do what you can. So
and you have a newsletter, right?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the newsletter. How many people do you have on that?
So I'm not super tech savvy sometimes.
It's over 1,000.
Yeah, but we had a lot more. We had a website on Wix that we weren't using to sell on, and we had a decent amount there. And then I tried to transfer them, and I lost them.
Oh no!
I just had everyone like resub, and it happened really quickly. We got back up to like 1,500 or so. So it's
That's
fine.
Hilarious.
Did you still have access to that account where you could like send a last email that says, by the way, if you still want to be on our mailing list, go here to sign up again, kind of thing?
Probably could figure that out. Yeah.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe you don't lose. Did you have like 1,000 over there too?
We had closer to 3,000, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It might be worth putting an email or two out. Just be like, by the way, if you haven't heard from us, this is why.
fuck that up.
Shit happens, and
there's like one guy in Indonesia who's like, yes,
finally,
where were
finally.
Pitch Pine.
That's so funny. Do you ship internationally?
We do.
Okay, I have a question. I have to ship to England, and like how much does it cost to ship to England, or like to a country over there?
Like a mug, you mean? Or...
Yeah, like a mug, like under 3 pounds, I guess.
Probably under $35.
Okay.
First class.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be like 25 to 30, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
cool.
you know.
That's for like my weight that I usually use is 2.8 pounds.
Okay.
Even if I'm below that, that's like my standard.
Oh, cool.
And I'm almost always below that, but just so I don't get like ripped off by the system or whatever.
And they still have to pay something when they receive it too. Is that right?
Depends on the country.
Yeah, it depends on the country. They may have to pay a customs fee, but I
know. Oh,
yeah.
Go on.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I know in Canada, I'll post it on my Instagram and we'll post it on the Wheel Talk Instagram. I was going to do it actually anyway. I got a screenshot from Rebecca and it's actually like the customs code that you need to use for Canada for pottery specifically.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I'll send it to you guys. But that's what I've used, and I haven't heard any complaints for Canada, but for England, I know that if you say that if it's because we had to deal with this with what was it? What do we do?
Hot swap.
Yeah, that.
What did we do for 2 years that we started?
Yeah, that. You have to say that it's a gift, or else it doesn't get there.
Yeah.
Like,
that was for pot swap though. You all are selling stuff, so
yeah. So they have to like pay a thing.
Yeah. Which I mean is kind of a disclaimer, like on our website and stuff. Like you kind of have to be aware of that for your own country. It's not really our responsibility.
Right. Have you had any issues with specific countries?
No, not specific countries, but I will say like the very few times that people have tried to like scam us or whatever through an order, it's always been international.
No kidding.
And
is that where they get it and they say it's broken or they never received it or something like that?
Yeah. And that's why I have everyone send us a photo of the piece. If something's broken, then I want to see the photo.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse because everyone has a smartphone or something. So if anyone ever says that, I'm just like, all right, show me the pot. I want to see it.
We don't typically have like too many run-ins with any issues. But we did have an international customer like last year who pulled like it never arrived, it's lost in the mail. And I was like, well, we still had like another week before the deadline. And I was like, actually, it's probably still on its way to you. Can we hold off a little bit? And he just kept demanding a refund. And then because we were on Etsy at the time, he was able to open a case file and they can, freeze your account and keep you from selling if it's disputed and So we ended up just refunding him. And then I like watched the tracking for like another week or whatever, and it arrived and he never contacted us. And it was just like, oh, okay, well.
And you all had to decide that because you're like, what's the risk here? And then Etsy wasn't like going to give them a refund. And then you all take it up with them.
Because it hadn't arrived. Like technically it was not delivered. So they're just like, yeah, it could be lost. They weren't really defending us or helping us. And I think we had restock coming up and we're just like, just refund the guy, like whatever.
Yeah, it's not worth costing you thousands of dollars to not be able to sell your stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen often. Usually we have the nicest following. We have the nicest customers. Yeah. I mean, there's people that have been following us for years and I've talked to some of them on the phone. Like when I've gotten sick and stuff, they're like, I'm a nurse. Let me call you and talk to you. And I'm kind of like, well, okay. But they're just like a little weird. But they're so nice. There's so many of them that are just incredible. We're very lucky.
It's like challenged my perception of the world because until Pitch Pine happened, I was like very much like, oh, the world is a terrible place full of darkness. And then we have like thousands of strangers who are just like, let's shower you with money and love. And I'm just true. Wait, what? This is a weird.
Yeah.
I had a lady call me and her mug arrived broken and she was literally crying. And she was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, why?
You're like,
why are you sorry? I'm sorry. And she's like, I just know how hard you work and I'm so sorry that it broke and all these things. I'm like, dude, man, it's fine.
Yeah. That's happened to us too. People are like, I'm so sorry to be writing this message to you. It has arrived broken. What can we? I'm just like, chill. It's all good. Like,
send me a new one.
Send you another one or get a refund or something.
Oh, I love people.
That's the best part, though, is just like knowing that we have this connection to like these thousands of strangers that they're like using our stuff and drinking stuff out of it. And
I love it when people share that stuff when they're sharing it on Instagram and I'm seeing it in someone else's home. It's just it's a cool connection.
It's really touching.
Yeah. I think that we should I feel like we're coming close to an end-ish, but I think that we should have a chat about cats because all of us like cats, and I know that Ryan can talk for at least 45 minutes about cats. And I just feel like that hasn't happened yet on this podcast, and I know you guys like cats.
Well, I know Marvel walked across here.
Yeah, have you heard Hanu at all? I wonder if he's gonna come up in the sound because he's been walking around meowing.
I have not. I've seen him jump up in the window, but
he's in the corner right behind Matt's shoulder.
No, that's
Mook.
Oh, never mind. I lied.
So it's
you don't know the cats well enough, Becca. You don't watch the stories enough.
He's walking around saying it's his birthday. So
yeah.
So you have two.
We have two. Yeah.
They're more like dogs than they are cats.
Yeah, they fetch, they snuggle. They're very dog-like. And they're both rescues. Hanu we got 4 years ago. He was at a kill shelter in New York with his brothers. They all had ringworms, so they were just going to be put down. Mm-hmm. And I know, it's so stupid. I hate that stuff. And there was another shelter in Massachusetts that they're called the Odd Cat Sanctuary, and they purposely rescue normal cats, but cats with diseases and disabilities.
At kill shelters and stuff.
Yeah. So she grabbed them, and I was actually going to meet one of Hanu's brothers, and she brought all three brothers, and Hanu immediately started biting me and crawling all over me and acting crazy, and I was like, nah, I want this one. I want the crazy one.
Ryan literally, nobody can see this, but Ryan literally grabbed his cat.
Here's Marvel. She was laying on the ground, so.
She's adorable.
Well, she was walking across here trying to eat my pasta, and so I had to move it in the other room. She is very food insecure and wants all the food.
Yeah. Okay, what about the other one?
So Mook over there, we don't actually know any of his story. He just showed up at our house when we were in Massachusetts. He showed up at our front door in the middle of the winter.
We were living on this farm, kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Middleborough, Mass. And he just kind of kept coming back. And we had a little blind and deaf pug at the time. Oh. And I was really worried that she wouldn't do well with a stray cat. I didn't know anything about this cat. But it was so cold, and I ended up letting him in one night. And he was fine with her. They didn't really give a shit about each other. They were fine. So we kept letting him in and out. He'd go out in the morning, he'd come back. And then there was one day I opened the door for him to go out, and he just stayed inside. And he's been our cat ever since. We've had him for 7 years now or something.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So he's at least 7. He's probably 8 or so.
Ryan, nice. Tell us about your cats.
Well, I like how you said they're like dogs, because I don't get people that are oh, they're not affectionate, they're the devil, they're terrible, I hate cats and stuff. It's depends on how you treat them and how you I talk to them, and I'm sure you all talk to your cats. And
yeah, you have to give them love. They'll give it right back.
Yeah. I yell at my cat.
Yeah. So, yeah, Autumn is the vocal one. You probably heard her in the background at some point walking around talking. And then Marble's the quieter one, the more chill, and she eats all the food and
are they indoor?
Throws it up immediately. Did you say, are they adorable? Is that what you said?
No. Well, they're adorable for sure, but are they indoor cats or outdoor cats?
Yeah, they're both indoor cats.
Okay.
We've had some scares with them getting outdoor, but Where you leave a window open on accident, and then Marple gets out and runs under the deck, and then like we look for her forever in the house in all the spots, and then we warm up deli meat, put it outside, and then she comes right to it in like 30 seconds.
Wow, that's smart.
We're like goners. We're like, what happened? We don't know where she's at, and you like freak out. I don't know if you've ever had those moments. I don't know if your cats are your cats indoor only.
They're indoor only. We've had a couple of scares too, and actually the one big one, we thought Mook was gone, and we had like just gotten to New Mexico. He's like, he's gonna get eaten by a bear or a mountain lion. We were running around outside. He was hiding inside somewhere. To this day, we still don't know where he was because we opened every cabinet. We looked.
He was probably behind the dryer.
I think I looked behind the dryer. I don't remember.
We never were able to figure it out.
He was just gone. Like I was looking in like holes in the couch, the lining in the couch.
Yeah.
He was
Tidbit hid for 2 days when John left, my old roommate.
Aww.
And it's Tidbit. Okay, so I have a black cat and then 2 white cats, and Tidbit is the scaredy cat, and she's actually not my cat. Like it was my old roommate's cat, and he tried to put her in his car 2 days before he left for California, and she pieced out. She was like, no. And so then we tried to find her, and we could not find her, and so he just left, and I was going to bring her down to him, and then she just became a cat.
Wow.
Yeah. But Lloyd, what?
What are all their names?
Tidbit, Lloyd, and Floyd. So Lloyd is my smart white cat, and then Floyd is the dumb white cat.
Special
and cat. He's special. And Lloyd really likes to go outside. They live in the studio full time, and Lloyd really likes to go outside. And one time I was actually on the phone with unemployment, and I'd run to a friend's house for something, and the waitress next door says, "Did you know that your cat's outside?" And I was like, what? Lloyd likes to go outside and like sneak out the door, and he's the friendliest cat. And she's like, yeah, he's just like having the time of his life. Like everybody's petting him, and he was out there for an hour. And so she grabbed him and put him in the back. But yeah, they're shop cats, so they love people. The kittens do, not Tidbit. She hides.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Do you all have them at the studio with you? I mean, you're not in the studio's not in your home anymore, so.
No, it's like 2 miles from here. So we were taking them for a while. Then it started getting really hot, so it's too hot for them there. So we've been keeping the door open, and since they're indoor cats, we can't really do that. And then we have a studio neighbor that has a little miniature poodle, scrappy little thing. So it's not really a good mixture. So,
no.
We stay home most of the time now. We might try again in the winter, taking them with us.
Are they cats that knock things off, or are they cats that are kind of gentle?
Mostly gentle, occasionally knocking things around, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
What about yours? Will Marble or Autumn knock crap off the counter? Or like pots and stuff? No,
they're fine in the studio. I mean, I can't let Autumn in there as much because she'll jump on stuff, like not like fresh pots and stuff, but she'll like jump up into the rafter or something like that in the basement.
Yeah.
Or jump on top of the car.
If I leave, I had to stop using plastic in the studio because I would cover all of my pots, and then I don't know which one, but one of them would walk all over the plastic because they love plastic. And you guys talk nicely to your cats. I do not. The majority of it are, you're such an asshole, and that's a lot. And then I've like had members in the studio and like Floyd like knocked something off the counter and was like, I hate you. I don't. I love them.
No, that happened to us too. Actually, when we first got Hanu and our studio was at the house right off the kitchen, I had plastic covering my pots, and I left him alone in the house, came home, and he had not just walked on them, but he had shredded everything. He had shredded the plastic. He had shredded the pots. Yeah. I don't know how he did it with his tiny little kitten paws, but it was a disaster. The mess.
So he's part Bengal. So you have to, like, he's like a dog. Like, you really have to burn his energy every day. Like, we have to really play with him for a while.
He howls.
Because if we don't like satisfy his like daily quota of playtime, he will just like flip his shit and just
keep you up.
Like yeah, he can be a handful. But he's also like ridiculously affectionate. Once you've done all that playing, then he's best bud.
Very sad.
Tidbit's the perfect cat. She doesn't jump higher than 3 feet. Unless it's to like perch somewhere, but then she's very she like walks gingerly around things. She's like, where are you from?
Yeah. So Becca, Tidbit is like the one that loved you the most, right?
Yeah. Tidbit's like a narcissist. Like she's like, she only likes me when she knows she's gonna get petted, and she won't she won't come up to you unless you're sitting down. Like and unless it's Ellen. Everybody loves Ellen, including the cats. But like, that's one of my members. But so you have to be sitting down, and then she'll come up and she's like, meow, 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 meow.
It's like when you get her love, you appreciate it.
Yeah, and then like, you could pet her for about 45 minutes, and she would not be satisfied. But the minute you stand up, she's out of there. Like, peace. But Lloyd is actually the one that loves me the most, like, for me.
Okay.
Loves me for me. And then Floyd is like a mix between Lloyd and Tidbit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Tara and Matt, which ones do you have? Different ones. Is one of each of the cats like love each one of you, like goes to each one of you?
Mook and his mom.
Yeah.
Mook is a mama's boy.
Mook, if I'm going to bed, I always go to bed earlier than him. And Mook's usually like hang out with us in the living room. If I say I'm going to bed, he will shoot off faster than me and get to the bedroom, and he wants to snuggle. In the mornings, though, before anyone else is awake, Hanu likes to cuddle up on my neck, but he also likes to choke me. And like, typically how I wake up is he's stepping on my windpipe to get my neck to snuggle. And like, part of me is like, this is adorable, because he doesn't snuggle all the time. He doesn't like let you just grab him and hold him kind of thing.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, I can't let this end. I need his snuggle, and I'm also like suffocating. So
yeah.
And they play with Matt. They love playing.
Well, I think they think that I'm like one of them, basically. Like, I'm a kid too, but then like Tara's like the mom, basically, and then I'm just like one of them. They're just like, oh hey, what's up? You want to play? And but yeah, I think they just think I'm also a cat, like a large cat.
Large.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? Who's
Marble is like my cat, and Autumn is like Rachel's cat for the most part. Like, Autumn's laying here on my desk right now, because she'll like lay on my lap or whatever. So.
I have to tell you a story about Ryan. He doesn't know that I'm gonna tell this, but we were all at Rebecca Graves' studio, and then we went back he stayed the night. And so we were all just chatting, and we chatted for 45 minutes about cats. And Rebecca was like, that was awesome. Aww. Like, she's like, what man can just talk about cats for 45 minutes? And I'm like, Ryan.
Well, it's one of those where you see new cats and you're like, oh man, I want to like pet the cats and stuff. And then the one comes up to you and the other one's like, getting closer, but not really. He's like, I don't really know you. It's like,
I feel like that's your most endearing feature, Ryan, is that you're such a cat man.
It's very rare. It's
cat man.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of guys have had like traumatic experiences with cats.
We went to a cat cafe in Charleston this week.
Was that amazing?
It was fun, but there's some of them that want nothing to do with you. Like there was some that like you try to pet them and they would just scratch you or just bite you, like nothing to do with you.
Really? That's interesting. Like I would imagine that those type of cats like wouldn't be.
Well, they had 12 in there at one time, and usually one of them gets adopted every day. So they're in there. They're not in there very long, I would say. But some of them might be. I mean, in the ages range from probably, I think, 1 to 4 from the ones that I saw in there. So
Lloyd, so people come into my shop all the time, obviously, but we had a run-in. Lloyd gets aggressive by different smells of cats. And I didn't even know this was a thing, but this guy who has 7 cats came and petted Lloyd, and I know. And he's a very nice guy, and he was petting it, and Lloyd just got super aggressive towards Floyd. And then I didn't take care of it right away, so I think it kind of like lingered. I didn't know what was happening. And so now if somebody with like more than 2 cats comes into the shop and he smells like an article of clothing for a long period of time, he actually ends up getting aggressive. And I was like, I'm a little worried for the future to see how he kind of like holds out, but I have to lock him in the bathroom for 24 hours and then he's fine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't remember what they call it. It's a specific things for cats, but yeah, it's like so crazy, and it's scary as somebody who owns a shop where kids are.
Yeah.
Because if you had an aggressive cat, like it happened with a customer like 3 weeks ago, and thankfully, I know now I get the treat bag and I take him to the bathroom and like that's it, and just close the door. But like, how scary would that be if a cat like got aggressive on a customer? Like that's not okay. Yeah, that's scary. Yeah.
There's some of these cat instincts. It's like, I don't know what goes on their mind. There's some like primal stuff that happens when they start chatting with birds and stuff. It's like, I don't know what's going on. Get all
big, their eyes like dilate. Just like, whoa, what's happening?
Yeah. He's fine now. Like I haven't had a problem, but if any one of my customers is listening, he's fine now. But yeah, crazy. That's crazy. Cats.
Have you guys seen videos of the cat island in Japan?
No,
what is this?
If you just look it up on YouTube, there's this island that I don't know what happened, but there's just tons and tons of cats, and it's a really small island. So people will go and they'll just go and like feed them fish and stuff and hang out with them. And there's like a lot of vlogs that you can watch of people just hanging out with these like hundreds of cats. It's really cool.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could get out of control if they're not spayed and neutered. Get crazy.
There's no way you could spay and neuter that many cats. Not on an island.
Lots of babies.
We should probably wrap up.
All right. So after 20 minutes of cat talk, how can people find you and all that good stuff?
So we're on Instagram lots of the time, Pitch Pine Pottery, and then our website, pitchpinepottery.com. We're not on TikTok, and we're not on Twitter. Oh, we do have Pinterest. Mm-hmm. We do Pinterest.
Oh, good.
Is Pinterest good for you all? Do you all just post? You all post a lot of photos in your Instagram, so
yeah.
Do you feel like Pinterest works?
I think it's doing something. We actually do have someone that's managing it for us. And I do very little, so I don't fully understand any of it. But I think
they manage it for you, like they just take a bunch of the photos that you already have on Instagram and repost them or something.
Yeah, she does that. She curated a ton of boards for me, and then she works with Tailwind, I think it's called, to like work within the groups that are on there and
tribes, I think they're called.
They're not calling them that anymore because because you shouldn't use that. But yeah. So I don't entirely understand. I don't understand Pinterest, but
you and me both.
I'm sure you could I'm sure you're seeing some analytics of traffic being driven there to your website.
To our website for sure. And
I'm curious how people what that traffic looks like.
Yeah.
Like how they get back to the website.
I've heard that
if you listen to Kurt's talk, I mean, he just briefly mentioned it in our last episode that we talked with him about, but he has he just reposts videos and photos that he posts on Instagram that are old, and drives all the website links back to his website. So you could put one CTA link on there. I do the same thing with all of mine, and videos get the most traction for me, whether it's demonstrating throwing. So Tara, if you just tripod and take some videos of you throwing, if you want to send those over and see if they can post some of those and see if those help, because then it's, it's not as focused on your grid and it doesn't get stuck in there, but you can see how the traction works with that.
Yeah. I got an Archon mount, by the way. If you haven't got one of those, they're kind of worth the investment.
What is it?
An Archon mount.
I don't know what that
Instead of a tripod, they're just
ARKON.
ARKON. Look them up.
Kevin Kowalski has like affiliate links or something for it if you want to save some money on it.
Oh, damn it. I should have used that.
Yeah, like 15% off or something like that, or $20 off or something. I don't know.
Damn it, Becca.
Damn it. Yeah, anyway, I started using one of those, and it's helped quite a bit with my video situation, because tripods are so bulky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a pain.
They're such a pain. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. PitchPinePottery.com. Pitch Pine Pottery on Instagram. Look them up on Pinterest. All that good stuff.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you for having us. This was fun.
Thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you could find the podcast at Wheel Talk Podcast, or you could find myself at RD Ceramics. That's R's in Ryan, D's in Durban, Ceramics.
Or you can find me at 5 Lines Pottery Studio. That's the number 5. And don't forget, share this with your friends, like us on Instagram, and don't forget to write a review. It helps us an awful lot. Thanks.